Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is HD, and I'm coming at you guys with an HD broadcast of the GameCom Plantronics tournament. And as I promised, I've been doing the highlight replays of the week. I've done 3 of those already, and today we're going to be looking at the semifinals and the finals broadcast. I want to thank everybody who's tuning into this to watch live right now on Twitch TV, and if you guys aren't watching it live right now, well, then you guys are probably watching it on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for tuning in, and it's been a pleasure to be able to promote this tournament, and of course get more players to come out and play this game on the website GameCom Plantronics and register and play in the tournament. Big thanks out there for all the players who have supported this tournament, and of course for the players who've competed. I know a lot of you guys out there who are watching this video are probably played in this tournament. You guys probably went really far. I'm not going to say you guys, died out in the beginning of the tournament or anything like that. I'm sure you guys all went very far. So, great job, guys. And as you guys all know, it's a 600-man tournament. A lot of cool prizes were given away, including, I bet, a bunch of headsets and a lot of other cool stuff as well. But the biggest cool thing about this tournament is the fact that there were some big names competing in this tournament. There was a lot of big players. I know some European pros were playing. Can't name any off the top of my head because my memory is blown to bits after so many years of drinking my life away. But I shouldn't be advertising alcohol on StarCraft. I don't know if they go hand in hand quite yet. Anyways, this is going to be Hawk versus Dice, a ZVZ on Metalopolis. vile.Hawk, I've had the pleasure of interviewing this player at the last MLG in Anaheim. Great guy. He's on the same team, obviously, as Illusion. Oh, Illusion. Yeah, Illusion is on the same team, as well as Spinishua. So Hawk has some great practice partners. In fact, Spinishua, one of the better Zergs out there, very famous. And you'd imagine that being able to play with Spinishua day in and day out, he's got a pretty solid ZVZ. So I'm looking forward to seeing how his ZVZ plays out on the now defunct Metalopolis old school map as of now. And, his opponent is going to be Dice. I try to look up Dice on SE2 rankings to give you guys a little bit of a picture and paint you guys a picture of what kind of a player Dice is. Unfortunately, I couldn't find his name because there's like 50 million Dices out there. Apparently, Dice is a very popular name. I'm not entirely sure why. So anyways, it is going to be a ZVZ here, and it is going to be on a good old Metalopolis. We do have a 15 hatch opening for both these players, which is fairly bold on a map like this where the natural is pretty exposed. Look at the amount of size there is between the ramp all the way over to this edge right here, and Lings present a big threat to Zerg players who are looking to wall that off or looking to prevent the amount of surface area there is for Lings to run in. So for both these players to open 15 hatch, pretty bold, but given that they've spawned cross spawn, which is the furthest spawn possible for a matchup on this map, I think both these players are going to have a reasonable amount of time to get out their units and get a lot of income going, as well as getting out the necessary defenses to deal with any kind of early game shenanigans. Shenanigans. I think I said that right the first time. So we'll see what happens here. ZVZ obviously has a lot of traits that make it a pretty distinct matchup nowadays. Back in the days, and historically, ever since Brood War, it's always been known as the most volatile of matchups. I was just looking back through some of my epic and old Brood War casts when I used to cast Jaedong versus, Jaedong was like my favorite player of all time. I went nuts for Jaedong, bonkers for Jaedong. But yeah, I digress. Back in the days, ZVZ has historically been a very volatile matchup. And nowadays, ZVZ, I don't think, it's not as volatile as it was before. Certainly, it can still have a lot of elements that make it a very difficult match to play. The Baneling Ling wars are very micro-intensive, but once you get past all that crap, then, for lack of a better word, then you get into the Roach phase where things actually get really stable. So it's a matchup where on one side you've got volatility, and the other side you've got stability, and it makes for a very interesting match. And speaking of volatility, we may actually have both players here going for fairly large Lings here. Hawk is producing... Whoa, we've got a lot of Lings coming out for Hawk here, and he's got speed just now coming out. It almost looks like it's a 2-hatch all-in Ling build for Hawk, but while he has more Lings than Dice may have, Dice is actually going to have Banelings out, and Hawk does not have a Banelings nest down. He's actually going straight into Roach Warren, so this is a little interesting turn of events here, and Dice doesn't have his Banelings at the front door, and of course without Banelings, the Lings from Dice are going to be able to, from Hawk are going to be able to run in here and do a lot of damage. We do have an engagement over here on the other side of the map. Banelings are just kind of waiting off creep, so they will not be able to fall back and help out the natural expansion. But oh, Hawk runs into all those banelings and loses about 2 of them. That was just a disaster waiting to happen for Hawk. And, you know, despite Hawk getting a lot of lings out in the beginning of the game, those banelings completely neutralized that threat. And now Hawk he's got to get the queen up on the ramp, or those banelings are going to be able to... No, the baneling's able to run inside into the main. But thankfully for Hawk, he gets his roaches just in the nick of time to deal with those banelings, and he really mitigates the amount of drones that could have possibly gone down. It looks like his ramp fairly secure for now. You know, a map where it's very dangerous for lings when they can run in wherever they want, and please, once you get the roaches, it's not nearly as bad. However, with that being said, Hawk is behind in economy. He's down by about 11 harvesters right now, and that's all due to the fact that he opened up with these lings and then he lost all of them. So he had to invest all those larvae and minerals into roaches. And I think Dice couldn't be happier with that. He rolled the dice, he played a very aggressive ZVZ style, and you know, luckily for him, Snake Eyes didn't come out. And for Hawk, he's actually the one who's behind by a, you know, not a large amount of harvesters, but a considerable enough amount that makes a difference in a mirror matchup. Ooh, that was just a trap. It was a trap. So those 2 lings end up running into Admiral Akbar, and that kind of sucks for them. Two more lings gonna be able to get inside here. Blah, 2 more lings. 1 more ling is gonna be able to get in here, and it gets its way into the main, gets a full scout off into Dice's base. And the one thing he was really looking for there was the timing on the lair. You know, for a Zerg player, you really want to know when that lair is coming up, because it says so many things to you as a player. And you know if Roach Speed is coming and when it's coming. You know if Mutalisk could possibly be coming out as well. Infestors, Roach Burrow, Tunneling Claws, all that good stuff. Or, you know, from one point of view, it may be bad stuff. So it's good that he got the ling in there. It looks like the ling, which was worth so much, eventually ends up going down to these roaches. So Dice dispatches of that ling fairly easily, and now we're kind of approaching this phase in the game where both players are going to be entering a very stable ZVZ, and this is what I was talking about. On one side, you've got the volatile matchup in Zerg versus Zerg, and on the other side, you've got this very stable, potentially stable matchup once the roaches come out. The beauty of StarCraft 2, where Blizzard decided to implement the Roach, has made the ZVZ matchup so much more long-term. It's given it a long-term, what word am I looking for? Longevity? I don't want to use the same word in one sentence, but long-term possibility, so to say, in ZVZ. So it's fun to watch. We'll see what happens. For now, it looks like Hawk is going to go up to lair. His lair is actually going to be, well, actually a little bit behind Dice's lair. So Dice did get his lair up a little bit earlier. That was a pretty fast one. Did I completely miss that being the lair when the ling ran in? I'm pretty sure I didn't. So anyways, that layer is up. Both players, let's see what upgrades they're going for here. Mutalisks have been making a big return in ZVZ, which is always fun to watch. And indeed, we do have a Spire coming up for Dice right now. So he's going to continue to gamble, roll the dice. Mutalisks are very, you know, hit or miss, depending if Hawk has enough units to deal with that. And of course, Infestors are a great way to deal with Mutalisks as well, but hold that thought, we have Dice running in here with a lot of lings. I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough damage, and it looks like Dice also trying to go for the two-pronged attack with roaches at the front door. That's going to distract a lot of Hawk's roaches from defending against the lings, and Dice ends up killing almost every drone at the third expansion. Beautiful play by Dice. And if we pull up that workers kill tab, 5 workers going down for vile.Hawk. Pretty devastating blow there, just adding insult to injury. But Hawk, you know, he's on top of things. He's been producing drones quite efficiently. He's got the same number of drones, and wow, he's got a much larger roach army. Look at how many roaches he's got. And you know, when you go back and you think about it, the problem here with going lings against a Zerg player who's already got roaches, it's just plain and simple. Broad as daylight, lings are not a unit that lasts very long in battle. And if you're going to invest all those minerals in lings, well, you better do some damage. And he did some, but if you don't keep them alive, then this is a situation you face with Hawk staring you down with a bunch of roaches. And thankfully, Dice does have a lot of spine crawlers in the back, and his Mutalisks pop out just in the nick of time. So Dice gets some Mutalisks out. These Mutalisks may be his saving grace, but Mutas take forever. Literally, they take light years. You can pound away on these roaches for 10 billion years, and they'll take forever to die. And during that time, Hawk is going to be able to do so much damage. Hawk is going to run right into the natural, forces all mining to stop, and oh no, he could possibly get the Spire. If the Spire goes down, then Dice is going to be in a lot of trouble, but Dice saves the Spire at the very last second. Beautiful play. We do also have another hatchery up here for Dice at the 3 o'clock as well. So Dice saves the Spire just barely, and Hawk immediately transitioning into Hydralisks as a result of seeing those Mutalisks. It's a pretty smart play. I feel like Infestors would be a little bit better, but he's chosen his tech path now. He is going to get Infestation Pit regardless, and it's going to be Hydras versus Mutas here. The Hydras have +1 range. That is going to help so much against the Mutalisks. I also feel like +1 armor, +1 carapace, that is. What am I talking about? Zergs don't have armor. They have carapace. They have thick, ooey gooey hides. Hawk is going to have Hydralisks out, and you know, I feel like +1 carapace is the better upgrade to deal with Mutas, because when you think about it, each glaive worm, thereby gets reduced by 1 point of damage, so it becomes 8, 2, and then 1, or 8, 2, and 0, one of those. So to each his own. Hawk has gone for the Hydralisks now. Hydralisks, of course, being a very, very good unit in ZVZ when they're backed up with roaches, which they are. And we also have a Nidus network being produced by Hawk as well. This is really going to expedite the Hydralisks' travel, because everyone knows they are slow as snails. And they are not, I mean, they're going to be able to walk across this map, but literally they're not even walking. They're old grandpas on their wheelchairs. They're going so slow, but they're going to be able to run up here into the 3rd expansion and, oh, force a cancel on Dice's 3rd. Not bad at all. That's actually Dice's 4th, though, because there is a hidden hatchery up here. Remember, guys, during this entire time, you guys might think that Hawk is way ahead, but Dice has been keeping up with economy fairly well, and we did just hear a Nidus worm go up over here. The Nidus worm is just barely, literally, it's just a foot away from the hidden expansion, the ninja expansion. Hawk doesn't quite realize it, but I don't think it matters. He has got so many Hydralisks and so many roaches. And I think he is poised to take game 1 here in semifinal A of the GameCon Plantronics tournament. And I just want to say right now, right here, if Hawk wins this game, you know, before we go into game 2, what a pleasure it's been to cast this tournament. And maybe I should just hold that thought for a second, because this battle could go either way, because Dice has a lot of spine crawlers in the background, but no, Hawk's just got way too many forces. A complete molestation. Get that? Rather than infestation, Zerg's molester the enemy Zerg. So Hawk here completely devastates the natural of Dice, and Dice is gonna go down here, no doubt about that. Hawk playing a really good game here, and Hawk will take game 1 in this series. This is, I believe, a best of 5, guys, so the games still have a very, very long way to go. They could go either way. Dice obviously has a great fighting chance to bring this back and go into the grand finals. And yeah, so Dice is gonna GG right there. Well played by both these players, and a pretty entertaining ZVZ at that, with Nidus Worm even making a brief cameo appearance. So someone paid this Nidus Worm like $50,000 just to pop up. Anyways, thanks guys for tuning into this broadcast. If you guys are watching this live, you know, big ups to you guys for coming out and showing your support for the community, and of course participating in GameCon Plantronics. Great guys out there at GameCon Plantronics. I said GamesCon and they didn't like that. So GameCon Plantronics, love you guys. Great work you guys are doing out there, and of course, thank you all for, you know, following me on YouTube and watching my broadcast. If you guys are watching this live right now, that means that you guys are HD maniacs. Thank you so much for being an HD maniac. I'm making a heart sign right now, but you guys can't see it. Anyways, this is going to be game 1, and game 2 will be coming up right after this. So I don't think you guys should go anywhere. Stay tuned.